Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Make more concise. Something that is compiled, as into a single book or file. A periodical that summarizes the news. Arrange and integrate in the mind. I cannot digest all this information. Become assimilated into the body. Protein digests in a few hours. Convert food into absorbable substances. I cannot digest milk products. Soften or disintegrate, as by undergoing exposure to heat or moisture. Soften or disintegrate by means of chemical action, heat, or moisture. Systematize, as by classifying and summarizing. The government digested the entire law into a code. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Dwell. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. I cannot bear his constant criticism. Have on one's person. Bear a scar. Bring forth. Take on as one's own the expenses or debts of another person. She agreed to bear the responsibility. Behave in a certain manner. Cause to be born. Have rightfully. Of rights, titles, and offices. She bears the title of Duchess. Contain or hold. Have within. Bring in. Interest-bearing accounts. Support or hold in a certain manner. Be pregnant with. She is bearing his child. An investor with a pessimistic market outlook. An investor who expects prices to fall and so sells now in order to buy later at a lower price. Have. Bear a resemblance. Massive plantigrade carnivorous or omnivorous mammals with long shaggy coats and strong claws. Move while holding up or supporting. Bear a heavy load. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. A natural stream of water smaller than a river, and often a tributary of a river. Persist for a specified period of time. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. The new secretary had to endure a lot of unprofessional remarks. Continue to live and avoid dying. Undergo or be subjected to. Face and withstand with courage. Continue to exist. The legend of Elvis endures. Last and be usable. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Provide housing for. Provide. The city has to put up half the required amount. Place so as to be noticed. Mount or put up. Put up a good fight. Construct, build, or erect. Propose as a candidate for some honor. Preserve in a can or tin. Make available for sale at an auction. The dealer put up 3 of his most valuable paintings for auction. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. A support or foundation. An interruption of normal activity. A booth where articles are displayed for sale. A platform where a brass band can play in the open air. Hold one's ground. Maintain a position. Be steadfast or upright. I am standing my ground and won't give in. A support for displaying various articles. A mental position from which things are viewed. Withstand the force of something. Stand the test of time. Put into an upright position. Can you stand the bookshelf up? Be standing. Be upright. We had to stand for the entire performance. A defensive effort. The army made a final stand at the Rhone. A growth of similar plants, usually trees, in a particular area. They cut down a stand of trees. A small table for holding articles of various kinds. A bedside stand. A stop made by a touring musical or theatrical group to give a performance. A one-night stand. Be available for stud services. Be in effect. Be or remain in force. The law stands. Be in some specified state or condition. I stand corrected. Be tall. Have a height of, copula. She stands 6 feet tall. Have or maintain a position or stand on an issue. Where do you stand on the war? Occupy a place or location, also metaphorically. We stand on common ground. Remain inactive or immobile. Standing water. The position where a thing or person stands. Tiered seats consisting of a structure, often made of wood, where people can sit to watch an event, game or parade. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Extend out or project in space. Be highly noticeable. The region of the body of a vertebrate between the thorax and the pelvis. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. An enlarged and muscular sac-like organ of the alimentary canal, the principal organ of digestion. An appetite for food. Exercise gave him a good stomach for dinner. An inclination or liking for things involving conflict or difficulty or unpleasantness. He had no stomach for a fight. Bear to eat. He cannot stomach raw fish. Feel physical pain. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Undergo, as of injuries and illnesses. She suffered a fracture in the accident. Be set at a disadvantage. This author really suffers in translation. Feel pain or be in pain. Undergo or suffer. Suffer a terrible fate. Undergo or be subjected to. He suffered the penalty. Be given to. She suffers from a tendency to talk too much. Experience, emotional pain. Every time her husband gets drunk, she suffers. Feel unwell or uncomfortable. She is suffering from the hot weather. Get worse. His grades suffered. Financial resources provided to make some project possible. The foundation provided support for the experiment. Argue or speak in defense of. She supported the motion to strike. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. A military operation, often involving new supplies of men and materiel, to strengthen a military force or aid in the performance of its mission. They called for artillery support. Be the physical support of, carry the weight of. He supported me with one hand while I balanced on the beam. Adopt as a belief. The financial means whereby one lives. He applied to the state for support. A musical part, vocal or instrumental, that supports or provides background for other musical parts. The act of bearing the weight of or strengthening. He leaned against the wall for support. Be a regular customer or client of. Documentary validation. The strongest support for this view is the work of Jones. Establish or strengthen as with new evidence or facts. The evidence supports the defendant. Be behind. Approve of. Support with evidence or authority or make more certain or confirm. Give moral or psychological support, aid, or courage to. She supported him during the illness. Aiding the cause or policy or interests of. The president no longer has the support of his own party. Any device that bears the weight of another thing. There was no place to attach supports for a shelf. Play a subordinate role to another performer. Olivier supported Gielgud beautifully in the second act. Something providing immaterial assistance to a person or cause or interest. The policy found little public support. Supporting structure that holds up or provides a foundation. The statue stood on a marble support. Support materially or financially. He does not support his natural children. The activity of providing for or maintaining by supplying with money or necessities. His support kept the family together. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. He learned to tolerate the heat. Allow the presence of or allow an activity, without opposing or prohibiting. We cannot tolerate smoking in the hospital. Have a tolerance for a poison or strong drug or pathogen or environmental condition. The patient does not tolerate the anti-inflammatory drugs we gave him. Recognize and respect rights and beliefs of others. We must tolerate the religions of others. Make more concise. Direct one's attention on something. Be cooked until very little liquid is left. Make central. Compress or concentrate. Cook until very little liquid is left. The desired mineral that is left after impurities have been removed from mind or. A concentrated example of something. The concentrate of contemporary despair. A concentrated form of a foodstuff. The bulk is reduced by removing water. Draw together or meet in one common center. These groups concentrate in the inner cities. Make denser, stronger, or purer. Concentrate juice. Make more concise. Condense the contents of a book into a summary. Compress or concentrate. Congress condensed the 3-year plan into a 6-month plan. Undergo condensation. Change from a gaseous to a liquid state and fall in drops. Water condenses. Become more compact or concentrated. Her feelings condensed. cause a gas or vapor to change into a liquid. The cold air condensed the steam. Developed due to condensation. All our planets condensed out of the same material. Remove water from. Condense the milk. The act of compiling, as into a single book or file or list. Something that is compiled, as into a single book or file. Make it possible through a specific action or lack of action for something to happen. This permits the water to rush in. Allow the presence of or allow an activity, without opposing or prohibiting. Children are not permitted beyond this point. Consent to, give permission. She permitted her son to visit her estranged husband. The act of giving a formal, usually written, authorization. Large game fish, found in waters of the West Indies. A legal document giving official permission to do something. The appearance conveyed by a person's face. A pleasant countenance. The human face, kisser, and smiler, and mug, are informal terms for face, and fizz is British. Formal and explicit approval. Consent to, give permission. Grant use or occupation of under a term of contract. A brutal terrorist group active in Kashmir fights against India with the goal of restoring Islamic rule of India. Make it possible through a specific action or lack of action for something to happen. A serve that strikes the net before falling into the receiver's court. The ball must be served again. Consent to, give permission. I won't let the police search her basement. Cause to move. Cause to be in a certain position or condition. This let me in for a big surprise. Actively cause something to happen. I let it be known that I was not interested. Leave unchanged. Let it be. Give or assign a resource to a particular person or cause. Make it possible through a specific action or lack of action for something to happen. This sealed door won't allow the water come into the basement. Allow or plan for a certain possibility. Concede the truth or validity of something. I allow for this possibility. Let have. Mandela was allowed few visitors in prison. Allow the presence of or allow an activity, without opposing or prohibiting. We don't allow dogs here. Consent to, give permission. I cannot allow you to see your exam. Allow the other, baseball, team to score. Afford possibility. This short story allows of several different interpretations. Make a possibility or provide opportunity for, permit to be attainable or cause to remain. The evidence allows only one conclusion. Grant as a discount or in exchange. The camera store owner allowed me $50 on my old camera. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Shorten lines in a drawing so as to create an illusion of depth. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. Reduce your daily fat intake. Take off weight. Be cooked until very little liquid is left. The sauce should reduce to 1 cup. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Be the essential element. put down by force or intimidation. Make smaller. Reduce an image. To remove oxygen from a compound, or cause to react with hydrogen or form a hydride, or to undergo an increase in the number of electrons. Narrow or limit. Reduce the influx of foreigners. Cook until very little liquid is left. The cook reduced the sauce by boiling it for a long time. Reduce in size. Reduce physically. Bring to humbler or weaker state or condition. He reduced the population to slavery. Distress and thus weaken a sound when pronouncing it. Lessen and make more modest. Reduce one's standard of living. Lower in grade or rank or force somebody into an undignified situation. She reduced her niece to a servant. Make less complex. Reduce a problem to a single question. Reposition, a broken bone after surgery, back to its normal site. Simplify the form of a mathematical equation of expression by substituting one term for another. Undergo meiosis. The cells reduce. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, a batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disk. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles, of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cause to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wayne cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing. Hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping-pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. Become smaller or draw together. Enter into a contractual arrangement. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Contract bridge. The highest bid becomes the contract setting the number of tricks that the bidder must make. Make or become more narrow or restricted. A variety of bridge in which the bidder receives points toward game only for the number of tricks he bid. Compress or concentrate. Engage by written agreement. Squeeze or press together. The spasm contracted the muscle. Be stricken by an illness, fall victim to an illness. A binding agreement between two or more persons that is enforceable by law. Make smaller. The heat contracted the woolen garment. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Shorten. Edit by omitting or modifying parts considered indelicate. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The manuscript must be shortened. Become short or shorter. In winter, the days shorten. Make shorter than originally intended. Reduce or retrench in length or duration. He shortened his trip due to illness. Make short or shorter. Shorten the skirt. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Lessen, diminish, or curtail. The new law might abridge our freedom of expression. A publication containing a variety of works. A concise but comprehensive summary of a larger work. Request for a sum of money. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. A publication containing a variety of works. Happening or recurring at regular intervals. A publication that appears at fixed intervals. Get the meaning of something. The cognitive condition of someone who understands. Get the meaning of something.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.